TFS Podcast, Life Beyond TFS. So, just a quick background, this is a collaboration activity brought to you by TFS Knowledge and Control Pillar and TFS People, Culture, and Sustainability Pillar. We will have a series of episodes, so just feel free to suggest whatever topics you want to talk about on our next episodes.
That's correct indeed. And for the very first episode of Life Beyond TFS, we will be talking about work-life balance. So, work-life balance, what is it and what is it all about?
So for me, work-life balance is being able to find the right mix of the things that we do in the office and how we do well when it comes to our personal lives, especially our everyday life composed of 24 hours. Are we going to really balance it? So we have 8 hours in the office, and how well do we use the rest of the 16 hours for our personal development, religious activity, social activities, and how we're going to grow in our own apart from the business or apart from the company. How about you?
Wow, that's really that's really a lot. But for me, aside from the things that I do at work, I I make sure to make time for my hobbies, which are sports and other things. Also, some me time and family time.
That's true. So what we have here to share us how she practiced what we so-called work-life balance and her takeaways on what it's all about. We are privileged to have our very first guest, our special guest for tonight. So the guest of ours really practice it as she speaks about it and has she highly encourages it and does a lot of activities outside work, which is highly applaudable and so very amazing. She's promoting selling stuff online, investing in electric cars and food courts, and a lot more.
She is also doing an initiative on recycle boxes and open community initiatives, open house. On top of this, she is also helping kids from third world countries. So without further ado, we'd like to introduce to you our very special guest for tonight, Singapore, our LSO team from Singapore, Miss Jennifer
Jennifer.
Dang.
Hi
Hi, Jen.
everyone. Hi, John.
How are you
And
feeling tonight?
How are you
good.
feeling tonight
Yeah.
or today?
Mm.
Okay, so just to start it first, formally, we will be having three sets of questions. So first, we will going to undergo serious type of questions. Will be talks about random things about you and how are you doing in life already, and
Mm-hmm.
we know that we will have a lot of things about it, a lot of takeaway from it. Then second set of questions will be the fun side of your life so far. We're going to dig deeper on what's made you such an interesting person. And the last part of it is what we so-called fast talk. So we're just throw a question and then you give an instant answer. So are you ready, Jen?
Yeah. Or do you want to
Yes,
say
of course.
something before we start with the questions? Do you
Sure.
want to add to start?
You can yeah.
That's good. So okay, let's start with question number one. What do they have? What do we have there?
Okay, so for the first question about work-life balance, Jen, is how do you currently manage your work tasks and personal commitments to maintain a healthy work-life balance? Basically,
Well,
how
for
do you do
myself,
it?
okay, sure. For myself, I believe one needs to have a good mindset, and you also need to have the. For myself, I apply the triple eight rules. All right, the number digit 888. Okay, I need to have a good, sure, good 8 hours of sleep. All right, and then 8 full hours of work, and also 8 full hours of my me time.
So when it comes to having a good mindset, Jen, how when you talk about mindset, what's your current mindset as of now, as of this period of your life?
Oh, I always have this kind of positive mindsets. So with a negative mindset, you can't get yourself move into doing anything else in terms of work or in terms of your life. Okay, the first thing you need to is a positive mindset in yourself. Yep.
Yeah, that is true. And actually, just a personal um add to that, I can
Mm.
attest to Jen's me being positive, like to her mindset. Even at work, she's very positive to work with. Like she can always say, if, right? Even when there's a problem and say, "Oh, thank you, Jen. Sorry for the trouble." She'll always say, "It's okay. We're one team. We can do this." She
Oh
even gave
yeah, exactly.
me,
Yes.
yeah, like a good. right?
Correct. Correct.
Also,
Yes,
to
that
add
should
to
be the
your to
correct
what you
mindset.
say, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Also, to add to the 888, how do you make sure that
Mm.
you have this? So to move on with the to move on to our next questions, what are, because you want to practice this 888, right? So what are there any specific challenges that you face in balancing or being able to do this 888 principle of yours in your life?
Well, of course, in our daily life, we have specific challenges that we are facing. I cannot say no, of course. How we actually manage the work responsibility with my personal life and work is, sometimes we may encounter same day transactions that we need to manage. When client last minute they give us anything, we have to manage. And then what I'll do is that, have a clear state of mind. Okay, if you are facing specific challenges, um, how should I put it? It's never a challenges for me. I will take it positively as, you have to do that. There's no stopper. Whenever things come, you still have to handle it in a positive way. I should say it. I can never say, okay, another magic word is you also have to learn to say no many a times.
Yeah.
If you are facing certain challenges, be mindful to use the magic word say no. If you take it upon yourself, there's no such thing as you can, error may occur, that kind of things. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I just want to go back to what you said. It's important to say no, especially if
Yes.
you have this principle in life as well. Like, how are you going to be
Mm.
able to do it if you keep giving yourself
Yeah.
to everyone, right? You have to learn
Mm.
which ones are benefiting you and which ones you can actually prioritize and will
Yeah.
give you the best, right?
Yeah,
And I think when it
precisely.
comes
Yeah.
to saying no, it's
Yeah.
Mm.
also a type of breaking culture because we're so
Mm.
pressured with when it comes to, especially with the people around us, and we feel like when someone's asking us a favor, we feel like we're obligated to respond to that favor that was being asked from us without being
Mm.
mindful of ourselves first. If we still have
Mm.
time for things like that, if,
Mm.
for example, it's not your culture to drink, and then there's a pressure coming
Mm.
from the environment for you to drink, if you
Yeah.
will subscribe to the culture, it will sacrifice something inside of you. It's not your culture, but you're subscribing just because
Mm.
of the pressure.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, true. I would like to say
And
something. Over here, I would like to say,
sure.
add on something. Over here, we do have a very open culture in LSO. Okay, we have this, we have an open concept, open feedback concept. Leader that, give us the opportunity to perform what we need to. Whenever you have, okay, ask yourself, whenever you have encountered problem, okay, maybe you have a very demand workload, what would you do? You ask yourself, if you encounter, day one, if you come to the office and you know that there's a workload, so how do you handle that workload? You cannot take it everything upon yourself. All right. It's always good to raise your hand, say, I may be overloaded, I need help. That kind of culture which I believed LSO is having, which is very good for us to, yeah, maybe for GSO also, for you guys to know as well. We can't do everything alone by ourselves, really.
That's true. And it's actually a
Mm.
nice thing to foster, a culture that's nice thing to foster in
Yeah,
the working environment.
correct. Mm.
Yeah, that's something
And
that
of
we
course,
also try here.
yeah, correct. I don't know how you guys feel, but personally, a good culture, a good environment, an environment that can actually allows us to speak up, which is very good. Yeah, this is what happening in LSO over here. Yeah.
That brings us to our
Third question. So
Mm.
speaking of culture and culture when it comes to work, how do you get the balance between your personal life and the job that you currently have, which we know requires high workload, high demand, and really has a lot of career advance pressure.
Yeah, it's a count. Goes back to the same thing I actually says, work is work, personal life is personal life. Okay, I'm not a person that goes for career advancement. I'm a person that goes for work-life balance. You know, um, so what I do is I adopt that kind of mindset. Work is not everything in our life. You need to have your own personal life in order to achieve the high demand job environment you are actually in. I don't know whether you guys understand. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
There are one's mindset. Yes,
Like
correct.
work is not everything at the end of
Mm.
the day. Although we do our best, of course, to give ING
Yes.
the best like employee or all of
Yeah.
our resources as much as we could. At the end of the day, work is
Mm.
work, and and
And
they know
workload
that
is not,
ING also.
yeah, correct. Workload is also not, work is not everything. And our workload is not, it can be shared among your fellow colleagues. And what you need to do as a personal, speaking for myself, I actually, have that kind of idea. Share your workload, amongst your fellow colleagues. That is the most important thing. You don't keep everything to yourself. Yeah.
Do you do that also with your team? We definitely do that.
I'm currently doing it. It's the job I'm left. I'm sharing it with them.
Yeah.
There's, but I would like to go back to what you're doing. Work is not everything about our life. But what will be your advice for someone? Like for example, if I don't have anything outside work,
Anything off?
meaning I don't have any hobbies so far, I don't do anything up after work. What I do is I just go to work, go home, then do nothing at
And
home,
then
sleep at
sleep,
home,
right?
and
And then
then
you
go
sleep,
back
right?
to the work
Yeah, and then work again. Like someone who's like
into that cycle.
Boring life. That is very boring life.
very
Yes, that's not
that
me.
is true.
If you work and then, that's not me at all. Okay, like I say, applies the 888 rules. You need to find something for yourself. Work is not
Yes.
everything in your life. You know, what you have to know your life purpose. You cannot be
Yeah.
always work. The purpose, the work purpose. You need to have a purpose in your life. For me, my purpose is not everything about work. Even if I got a high salary pay, it doesn't guarantee me that I will not be sick. So you need to have a work-life balance. You need to have some me time for yourself. You know, Maybe you can start with listening to music. Maybe go for, a walk, brisk walk. Yeah, rather than just work and then go home and just sleep. Yeah, maybe start with a brisk walking.
Yes. And I just want to clarify as well, because maybe some people who are listening to this will be like, oh, it's just about people who has a lot of energy. Oh, they just have a lot of money. How about us who doesn't have a lot of money or a lot of energy? Like, it doesn't mean like that. Having a work-life balance means like what you said, having a purpose outside work. You
Yeah.
can want, you're right, you can want to achieve like a very high position, but at the same time, your life's
Mm.
worth is not dependent on your job. If you lose your job tomorrow, you will still be happy. You do. I mean,
Yeah.
if your work-life balance is having to go home and play video games, if it decompresses you from the work, that's good, right? As long as
Mm.
you don't put everything at work. Yeah, to everyone,
Yeah.
just FYI.
Nobody can guarantee you will have a job, correct? You
Yeah.
may have a job today, it may not guarantee that you have a job tomorrow. And then
Yes,
without your job,
yes.
without your paycheck, you have nothing at all. You
Yeah,
don't have a personal life and you lost your job, what will you do? So the main thing is need to have a purpose. Yeah, really need to have a purpose.
true.
Love yourself
Yeah.
more.
Work
I
is
can be
work.
very strict
Yes,
about
as
work.
Jen
Yeah,
said.
for myself, I have a timeline. Okay, just to share my magic, how I work, I need to
Uh-huh.
have prioritizations for my work. Whenever I send out something to the hub team, I need to ensure that everything is being handled in care, proper within the time needed. So I can't, prioritization is also another thing that we need to, when you're in your office, yeah, when you're working that full 8 hours, prioritization, time management, you can forecast what is going to happen the next week or maybe tomorrow. That is the thing that we need to. But when you're out of office, it's my time. It's really my time. Yeah, my me time. I can enjoy any other things that I love to, I want to, and I need to. Yeah.
Yes. Learning to disconnect and prioritize things. Very
Yes,
important.
correct. Yes, correct,
Yes.
correct.
Why does it seem like you're being attacked?
Sorry,
And
John. It's not about work
um,
and going home and sleep, okay?
Yeah, maybe this is for John.
I'll give you some tips, okay?
Yes.
uh, that's the previous job.
It's just a
I've been changed.
Oh yeah, that is true. I also had my years. Do you also have your years? I mean, right now, that's why you're also our guest. Is that you've learned how to strike the balance between work and life and everything else. So, was there a
Yeah.
previous life origin wherein you were all about work, or maybe even at work you're thinking about hobbies? Maybe some years like that. How was it before? And
Oh,
what
okay.
what hit
Just
you
to share.
to?
Okay. I actually have, previously, okay, just to introduce a small, brief introduction. I have been in ING for 26 years. I actually started without knowing what is work-life balance. Without knowing what is work-life balance. To me, work is everything. Just like you, John. Work is my soul, my heart.
I feel
I
like
used to work until 12 midnight. Yes, really, that happens to me. Used to work in, because that time I was handling some branches like France, Australia, you know, China, whatever. That I have to be in the office at 8 a.m. I have to go back at 12 midnight. So I tell myself, life is not everything about work. It's really not everything about work. So that triggers me to, think of me seriously. I need to have a purpose to my life. So what happened if there's one day without a job? You know, we can't do anything. Yeah, that is so John is for you. Really,
Yeah.
work is life is not everything about work. But of course when you're
True.
working, put in your 200%. Yeah,
work-life
really.
balance, negative
Yes.
balance.
I'd also like to share with you, John. I used to
Yeah.
be all work
Mm,
person. I don't even have a love life
mm.
back then. Before because I was
Really?
all work. Even I don't even have time for dating. And then the turning point was the
Oh,
pandemic. I don't have
ah,
anything. I was like,
oh
oh
dear.
gosh, I can't do work yet because we were not work from home already when I was in a previous company. What do I do
Mm,
outside work? Like,
mm.
who am I? I was like, oh
Ah,
gosh, something has to change. And I'm really
yeah.
glad that I joined ING because ING also really fosters and promotes work-life balance.
Which bring us
Yes.
to our next
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
Which brings us
Yeah.
to our next question. What do you believe is the role of the company? How it plays in fostering this conducive work environment that supports good work-life balance? What's
Okay.
our role?
ING. Okay. ING role. ING is actually just like, I could call it my mother. ING actually give me a platform. Really. Okay.
Yes.
Give me a platform to have hybrid working. We do have hybrid working like you guys. You have working from home. We do adopt them. We don't used to have that luxury previously. So nowadays we have this hybrid working. My colleague take turns to work from home, and that really makes a difference. And everybody's happy. ING really is a very good bank that
Mm,
that really give us a lot of support,
yeah.
a lot of
Yes.
fun. Yes, we feel like one big family being in ING working. Yeah, many a times, yeah, we may have work unhappiness, work among colleagues, but that's besides the point. Overall, ING is really a good place to work. Yeah,
It is. And it's
yeah,
actually
that's
here
how.
in the Philippines.
Yeah,
It's
that's how I
actually
get to know
been
you guys.
certified.
Yes, correct. Yes.
And I think what makes ING different is that is because of the hybrid way of working, we learn how to maximize the time that we have outside work.
Yeah.
For example, for me
Mm.
that lives in the province, way back then, when you work here in Manila, you have to stay here for 5 days straight for the whole
Oh.
week. Then you go home
Oh.
during the weekends, and then
Mm.
go back to Makati at Monday. But right now, what makes it different is that you learn to maximize the time when you're not working. You learn to do a lot of things, a lot more stuffs that helps you have inner peace, that helps you connect with the community that you are in, and that helps you connect
Mm.
with people. Unlike before
Mm.
that, you just go home and
Yeah.
sleep. That's the job back then.
That's the
Oh,
old
okay.
John. So
That's the old
what's
John,
that?
yeah.
You cannot reach
Yeah,
him.
glad to see. Yeah, glad to see that you grow. You're no more the old John. Yeah, you're the new John.
Yes, and aside from that, I just also want to share, John. I think this is also present in Singapore, but for me, because
Mm.
I've only been here for 2 years, ING played a huge role with my work-life balance, especially with me finding my hobbies, because I wanted to explore sports, and ING has a
Mm.
lot of sports-related clubs
Oh
here
yeah,
in
yeah,
Manila, like,
yeah.
even in
I
Singapore.
understand you have soccer, right? You have a soccer
Yeah,
team, or
football,
I
yes, yes,
understand. Yeah,
we
football.
also have
Yes.
that. And then we have a lot. So I joined the football team. I also joined badminton. And then we also have, there's a lot if you want to explore. And the good thing
Yeah.
is they actually provide, ING actually provides funding for this. So you know that they want their people to explore other
Mm.
things and keep them well and healthy. And I don't have that in my previous companies before. So if you wanted to, you'll be stuck in the office, or like people will already be so tired and just go home. No time for
Mm-mm.
others.
That's
How
why
about you?
ING has this, yeah. That's why ING actually give us a platform, or rather is a home that we can actually perform. We can actually perform and work to our full potential. They
Yes, I
no
do
need you
believe
to be
that.
in your workplace. They no need you to be in the office every now and then. They no need you to be at your desk every now and then. So long you can perform, you can deliver your job, it is fine. That is what I like about
Yes, that
ING.
is true.
This is really, yes, correct.
Of
This is
course, if
very,
it's backed by the company, work should be
mm,
the first priority.
Yeah.
But
yeah, of
as long as you're
course.
doing it very full on,
Mm,
yeah, and I've
yeah.
seen that many, many times already. So it's
Mm.
really great that we found ING and we found you here sharing
Yeah.
this.
My mindset very early in the morning, I look forward to work. I don't drag myself to work. I look forward with happiness. I can see my colleagues. I can, how to say, I just love my job. Yeah. Yeah, I don't drag my feet to work. I look forward to going to the office. I look forward to opening up my laptop every morning and start work. So, but when it's time to go back, my full 8 o'clock, I will just close my laptop. I don't work anymore. You know, I believe everyone should have that kind of mindset.